The Depth to Delve Deep by Rote. Chapter 5 Crystals. The next day begins with a walkabout, around and up and down the 7 streets serving like spokes on a wheel around the axis of the 7 dials roundabout. Lured like a fish, he drops in and out of every shop shining something of London, wondering and wandering away the day. Rote walks into a metaphysical crystal shop, cascading in crystals at every corner. Everywhere he looks he sees them, some crystallized from the ceiling like mystical mobiles. The rainbow reflections mesmerize him momentarily as the sun shines right through the prisms. So seen he sees, either by hallucination or by some kind of astral projection, a written image in a holograph form. There, freely floating in the medium, suspended in space, the name of a contact. The contact for live and work positions in the UK. He has this contact carefully on his person prior to departure abroad. When it all of a sudden superimposes its image in the ether mysteriously in that metaphysical shop, he knows his course, no matter how it manifests. He needs to let go lest he long more for his initial pursuit and push onwards into a subsistence search. The magic of it all seems so overwhelming. He knows how some things start. Some journeys start with serendipity. All he can hope for is this one to come without calamity. Rote has no doubt in his mind he will find both, though not before noticing all the littler landmarks London is lorded for. So many things seen are ever English, like the visible red double-decker buses. He notices the linkman-like lamps lining the lanes of lore, also the rows of pikes, gold-tipped sable sabres moored as mitred pale posts, standing like short sentinels along London's sidewalks. He walks by many red telephone booths before entering one to place a call. Upon calling the contact for live-in positions, Rote finds, along with his timing, his patience is tried by the glut of the pound coin consuming renowned red ringers register. After failing to connect to the free service for would-be travelers, the traveler leaves the telephone booth shaken and stirred, but not deterred. He is determined to call again later from his bed and breakfast. Later, from a short-lived stead, he successfully connects with the contact and is given 2 places to possibly work. He's prompted by a choice anywhere in mainland Great Britain, from Land's End to John O'Groats, for a live-in position. Somewhere in Scotland is supposed, hopefully in the Highlands or Islands. Scotland has held his heart ever since seeing the epic film Braveheart. And with his book behind him, it will become his reason to be, his raison d'être. He's surprised and happy to be given 2 possible places in Scotland to choose from. He hangs up the telephone, already picking in his mind the one to call first. Unfortunately, his undertaking is undermined by a simple stated stipulation that the contact ominously makes a point of fact over the telephone that a person must have a valid work permit that can only be acquired from the country of origin. That's that. But before coming over, the rover knows even then he can't meet the criteria, and surmises, like the country he comes from, there are ways to find work under the table or otherwise. The potential live-in position passed over the telephone at least presents a possibility well worth pursuing. It's legit. He decides not to let the job finder person or the people he presumes to be working for know he's without a work permit. And if they ask him, well, he will wing it. The next day, goodbyes are said to the people positioned at the bed and breakfast, befriended during the bypass week and while on the first flight over. From the owner and his daughter to the manager, all the way down to the 2 invitingly beautiful women who do housekeeping. They must have come from some exotic foreign land. Erotic thoughts come and go every time he sees them together. Rote, while relaying his endeavors, lights up the owner and the manager with his manuscript's manifested madness. They wish him well with his emerging enterprise and entertain the thought of having a blue plaque placed on the outside wall of the building, like the Royal Heritage Preservation Society does, denoting his stay come the day he becomes known as a writer.